Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The Ordinary Critics. Today we are reviewing Deadpool 2. Hi, I'm Isaac, and I'm just an ordinary guy reviewing extraordinary movies, and like I said in the intro, today I am reviewing Deadpool 2. It was a lot of fun in the theater. It kind of picks up along the same vein as Deadpool, the first one. With that, he's the merc with the mouth, and that is true. It's rated R for a reason, and I'm glad they stuck with that script and let everything kind of go. So, I can't really give a general overview of the plot today without giving too much away. So, from here on out, there are going to be spoilers, so if you haven't seen the movie, go check it out, and let's get started. Alright, so for the plot, it's actually kind of complicated for a superhero movie because we have Josh Brolin as Cable, and who is a time-traveling warrior from the future, who he's also like a super soldier. He's got like a robotic arm. It's great. Love what Josh Brolin did with the character. But the plot is kind of complicated because there are a couple of time hops and things dealing with that, and so of that nature. So I'm going to use the notes that our producer typed up to give you guys at least a kind of concise version. So here we go. So it all starts with Deadpool leaning on canisters and gallons and gallons of canisters of gasoline, lights a match, blows up dead. We rewind 6 weeks. And it's him just, doing his thing, catching some bad guys. And unfortunately, he lets one escape because he's in a rush because it is his anniversary. So he goes, he runs home, and him and Vanessa, they exchange gifts. He gives her a game token from their very first date. She gives him the option that she is open to having children now and she wants to start a family. Which is awesome, and he's very, very excited. And then all of a sudden, bad guys come in. Of course, they're orchestrated by the guy who got away. And there's a cool, slow motion action scene, and Deadpool's trying to use everything he can in the kitchen because he doesn't have his kit with him, and it's not accessible to him. So everything gets down to the last bad guy, throws a cream cheese spreader or something like that, hits the gun. The shot was intended for him, hits Vanessa. Vanessa dies. It's very tragic. And so for the past 6 weeks, he's been trying a whole bunch of ways to kill himself, but of course, as we know, he regenerates, and so he can't. So this final time, he blows up into 7 different main pieces, I guess. And Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead find him because they're worried about him and bring him back to the mansion. He meets Yukio, and Yukio is Negasonic Teenage Warhead. We're going to keep saying that full name. Is her girlfriend. And she's like, "Hi, Wade." And he's like, "Hi, Yukio." And it's just this thing that happens throughout the movie. You're like, "Oh, okay, this is cool." Basically, they're trying to convince Wade, give your life purpose, I guess, and that's one of the big things with the movie is when every time he dies in the movie, tries to die on purpose to go see Vanessa, he's stopped by this wall, and Vanessa's the first time she's like, "Go find your purpose," and he's like, "Okay." So he joins up and actually becomes a trainee of the X-Men, where their first mission is to save Fire Fist. And now Fire Fist is this kid, Russell, who is in this orphanage type place, or this academy, rather, where they're trying to brainwash mutants into not using their powers into becoming normal human beings. And there's also they torture and brainwash them to try to accept that they are just human, to try to stop them from using their superpowers. It's very odd. So Fire Fist is just going off, and he's causing mayhem. So they bring in these guys. Deadpool tries to talk to him, but finds out that he's been getting tortured. Finds out that Fire Fist has been getting tortured. So Deadpool goes off, starts killing people, and the main guy gets away. The headmaster gets away. Deadpool and Russell / Fire Fist get captured, and they get sent to a supermax prison for mutants called the Ice Block. Now, each one of them is collared up. They have these mutant suppressing power collars that they put each one in the thing, and they put Deadpool and Fire Fist each in these collars. So Deadpool's just this guy with stage 4 cancer now who doesn't have any regenerative powers. Deadpool basically is like, kid, I don't care about you. Like, you can't be friends with me because I literally don't care about you. I don't know what's going on here. So go find somebody else go find the biggest guy here, make friends with them. And so he ends up there's a supermax cell in the prison, and Russell goes and befriends whoever is in it. Enter Cable. Cable comes back from the future. Copyright. Comes back from the future where he has just come upon a crime scene where his family was killed by fire. It's just like their ashes, and so he knows that Fire Fist is responsible for this. So Cable comes, tries to kill Russell / Fire Fist. Deadpool's like, I don't know what you're doing here, and I don't know what's happening, but I'm not gonna let you kill this kid because I think there's I'm something supposed to do with him so I can go be with my wife in the afterlife. Huge fight breaks out. Deadpool ends up getting his collar ripped or detonated off. So he heals himself again, and Deadpool ends up escaping, and the prison is now unsafe after this fight. So all the prisoners are being transported to another location. Deadpool's like, okay, we gotta save this kid from Cable. I'm gonna recruit everybody, some superheroes. We're gonna get a team together via LinkedIn and call it the X-Force. So the X-Force consists of Domino, Bedlam, Shatterstar, Zeitgeist, Peter, and the Vanisher. Peter actually has a Twitter account and a LinkedIn account. It'll be in the description. Please check it out. It's a good time. So they end up attacking this caravan that's transporting all these prisoners, including whoever was in the supermax prison and Russell. But it's in very high wind, and they keep being like, "Hey, it's a high wind advisory. We probably shouldn't be jumping out of this helicopter." And he's like, no, it's fine. Everyone dies except for Deadpool and Domino. And Domino is played by Zazie Beetz, and she is fantastic. More on her in the character cast section. So they attack the prisoner caravan. Cable shows up. Fire Fist ends up unlocking, there's a whole big crash, and in the supermax prison cell was Juggernaut. So now Juggernaut and Fire Fist are best friends, and they're like, we don't need you guys, screw you. Juggernaut ends up ripping Deadpool in half, and then they escape. So Deadpool goes back to Blind Al and start forming a plan to figure out what happened. Well, half of his body is kind of growing back. Not kind of, it's growing back. So it's Deadpool, Blind Al, a couple guys from the bar, the cabbie driver, that's one of his sidekicks. Domino is there because her superpower is that she's lucky. That's the only reason she's alive, apparently. And then Cable walks in. Cable's like, hey, I gotta kill this kid. I gotta do it. I'm so sorry. And Deadpool's like, no, let's not. Give me 30 seconds with the kid because I'm supposed to save him so I can be with my wife. And Cable's like, fine. Deadpool tries to recruit Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead and Yukio, but they're like, no, Wade, you're not. No, we can't come with you. So they go, and Juggernaut and Fire Fist are on their way to kill the headmaster because he's the one who's been torturing Fire Fist for the longest time. So the X-Force and Cable, the new X-Force and Cable show up. This crazy fight starts happening between all of them, and then eventually Negasonic Teenage Warhead and Colossus and Yukio all show up, and Deadpool like goes to the audience, goes, well, there's a huge CGI battle that's about to happen, and so Colossus takes down Juggernaut with help from the other members of the X-Force. Deadpool finds Fire Fist, gets his 30 seconds, nothing happens. So he puts on the collar and is just like, hey, dude, like, don't do this. Like, the big thing is Cable saw him in the future, and like he saw his thirst for blood after he gets his first kill, and he just keeps killing and killing and killing. So if we can stop the first kill, which is the headmaster, then everything will go back to normal, and and Cable, his family will be safe. So Deadpool puts the collar on and is just like, kid, come on, like, I'm serious. Like, if you're gonna kill somebody, have it be me. I won't do it. Doesn't convince him. Cable ends up shooting him, shooting Russell, but Deadpool jumps in front of it, gets hit with the bullet, ends up dying. It's the longest and most drawn-out death scene I've ever seen in my life. It's a solid 5 minutes, which is very apropos for a Deadpool movie. And it's this long death scene. He goes back in and talks to Vanessa, and they're together. He breaks through the barrier, and Vanessa just like looks past him and goes, "It's not your time yet. It's not your time yet. They need you still." So he hops back, and the main plot twist is Cable. So when Cable came back from the future, he had 2 charges left on his wrist thing to time jump. One was to get him here, and one was to get him back to the future. So he ended up using his second one to rewind before the whole encounter, and he slips and he like touches his hand on Deadpool's chest before everything happens. And then it fast forwards really fast, and it goes into the shot, and Deadpool still gets shot, but instead it has the lead token that he gave Vanessa in the very beginning. So he ends up getting saved. Saves the day. The headmaster ends up getting hit by a bus instead, and so Cable's like, my future's safe, but I'm going to stick around here a while because I can't get back. And it's a satisfying ending, and I think one of my favorite parts is actually the mid-credit scene. It's Yukio and Negasonic Teenage Warhead are fixing Cable's time travel device, his wristwatch, for Deadpool. And so he takes it, and he goes and he like stops the initial encounter where Vanessa dies. So it's kind of like one of those time paradoxes of like, did this movie even happen? And then you have him do a couple more things, make fun of his own career, which is why I appreciate Ryan Reynolds so much. He makes fun of his own career and some of the superhero mistakes that he has made in the past, and he fixes them with the time travel, and it's great. So there is your overview of the plot. It was fun. It was fun to watch. The writing is so key to this thing, and Ryan Reynolds actually helped write it, which is cool. He understands his character more than anybody else. All right, next up we have cast. This cast, I'm going to talk about the 3 main people. We're going to talk about Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. Spot on. Knows exactly what he's doing. I'm really glad that they let him take on this role for Deadpool 1, and now for Deadpool 2. He reprised it, obviously, and it's a fun time. He's great. He's perfect in the role. I'm very glad that he is still on board with it. I don't know what his plans are after this for the Deadpool franchise, but I can see it going farther. I can see it going farther and keep going. Josh Brolin as Cable was fantastic. Seeing him from Thanos to Cable and being a villain and then an anti-hero, essentially, I liked the transformation, and I liked seeing him, and I liked seeing what he did and how he interacted with Ryan Reynolds' version of Deadpool. It was great. It was fantastic. And then I'm going to talk about Zazie Beetz for Domino. She's perfect, and I like how they kept her around. So I have a feeling that she's going to be a part of this franchise now when they do make Deadpool 3 and Deadpool 4 and Deadpool 5. I'm calling it here. Deadpool 5 is going to come out in like 10 years, but it's going to be here. The cast was great, perfectly cast, and even like all the little cameos for like the X-Force and all that stuff is very well cast, very well thought out. I really appreciated it. Continuity immersion, it was not difficult at all for me to get involved in this movie. I'm a huge superhero fan, if you couldn't tell from our last couple of videos. Those are the big summer blockbusters, so we talk about them a lot. But yeah, continuity-wise, immersion-wise, there's a lot of CGI in it. Cable's arm is CGI, Colossus is CGI, Juggernaut is CGI. So a lot of CGI, but it didn't take me out. It didn't take me out and be like, oh, I can clearly see that CGI. No, you're in the world, you're with it, you know what's happening. Soundtrack was perfect. It was great. You have like this slow motion explosions everywhere, stuff happening, and then you have like Tomorrow from Annie playing. Like, just the contrasts were great, and a lot of 80s music, a lot of 90s music. There's not really one particular, I wasn't really singing a song coming out of this thing besides Tomorrow, because I think it's one of the most annoying musical theater songs in the history of the world, but hey, that's just me. But yeah, it's just it's fun, and it just enhances the mood completely. Cinematography, yeah, I didn't have a problem. I loved how it was shot. Like I said, there's a lot of CGI in it, which is that's difficult. That's difficult to shoot and make it look realistic, but it did. So I really appreciated that, and everything that they did to make this movie come together. All right, so we're gonna get into the report card. It is just me, so all scores are out of 20 today. And here we go. The plot, I'm going to give it a 13. Cast, 18. Continuity and immersion, 18. Soundtrack, 16. Cinematography, a 15 for a total of 80. Yeah, solid B, absolutely. Yeah, it's a fun time. If you're into comics and you're into Deadpool, if you want a good laugh, go check out this movie. If you want to see I think you might need to see the first one just to figure out his backstory and where he is. It doesn't exactly pick up. You don't necessarily need it, but it is helpful. It is helpful. So next up this week we have Solo coming up, which is great. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, so that's going to be fun for me to watch. Thank you so much for watching this Deadpool 2 review. Click the like button in the comments below. Leave us a comment. Let us know what kind of movies you want to see. If you're excited for Deadpool 2, if you already watched it, let us know what you thought about it. Hit that subscribe button for more. Like I said, we're going to try to pump out one of these every week. Anything from Netflix to mainstream movies, we got it all. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, stay ordinary.